Osvaldo Monreal, please come to the main office. Osvaldo Monreal, please come to the main office. Joshua Castillo, please come to the main office. Joshua Castillo.
I want to push all those back. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I have to figure out where I am on this microphone. We are very happy to have you all here today. This is our Shooting Star ceremony, and what we do with our Shooting Star, we have this ceremony twice a year. We try to recognize a wide number of students for a wide number of things. Could be absolute excellence in a class, it could be great improvement in a class, it could be helping others. What we'll do is we will nominate each student. When we say your name, we'll have you walk forward and we will read the things that are on the certificates that your wonderful teachers had to say about you. You'll come up, let everybody look at you for just a moment, take your certificate, and then head back to the back. We do have over 90 students to recognize today, so we have to move rather quickly. So let's try this. Everybody look at the students around you, maybe even take a good look at yourself. Let's give you all a big round of applause right here at the beginning. I think if we wait to settle down between each student, I think it'll be difficult to get all students recognized, and we certainly want to do that. We're very thankful to have such a great group of kids here at Frankfort High School that excel in so many different ways, in the classrooms, on the fields and courts and pools, and all the different ways that they're able to help each other and make Frankfort an awesome place to be. So without further ado, our first student is Erwin Castillo. Erwin was recognized by Mrs. McDonald. Come on down, Erwin. Erwin was recognized by Mrs. McDonald. She says that Erwin is extremely social with students in class and out of class. She's extremely proud of how Erwin makes friends with anyone he sees. He's always so happy and his smile is contagious, as you will all get to see. There you go. Thank you, Erwin, for always being so fun and for always making us laugh. Congratulations.
Kevin Wilkins. This is nominated by Mr. Jagger. I have appreciated how Kevin has always been willing to share ideas in class. He is never afraid to answer questions that can be difficult.
Our next student is Avery Drew. Avery Drew was nominated by Mrs. McGuire. She says, "Oh, Avery, where do I begin? Maybe with makeup tips on your YouTube channel every day, or the worries about fracturing your hand right before sectional. I think I would rather focus on the fact that you talk a big game but are truly a softie at heart. I've gotten to know you pretty well this year and I'm proud of you for so many reasons. I hope that you always keep a smile on your face and have great success." She's at CNA.
Christopher Smith, nominated by Mrs. Jagger. Chris has come to school this year ready to work. I am amazed at how well he has taken on the task at each of our job sites and what he can accomplish when he is more willing to do them. I think that Chris has a great personality and he is never afraid to voice his opinion. You can always count on Chris whenever you're asking questions.
Our next student is Sydney Caesar. Mr. Isles recommended Sydney for this award. He says she's one of the hardest working students I have ever taught, achieving near perfect scores on all of her assessments during the first trimester. She is attentive, cheerful, and helpful to those in her groups. It's been a pleasure having her in class.
Kimberly Hernandez, nominated by Mrs. Jameson. Kimberly is a wonderful young lady, and I have thoroughly enjoyed having her as my TA this semester. She always comes in with a smile and is ready to get to work. I often hear her ask, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" with a great attitude. One instance stands out where Kimberly was showing some new students around the building, and I found out that she had invited them to eat lunch with her. She's just that kind of caring and compassionate person, and I know that she will be an excellent dental hygienist one day. Thanks, Kimberly, and I wish you all the best. She was also nominated by Mrs. Graham Bishop. Kimberly has proven to be an excellent student in the work-based learning internship program. For the first 6 weeks of trimester 1, Kimberly spent the first 2 periods the day with Dr. Ramos and his dental staff learning about dental hygiene as a career. The second 6 weeks of the trimester, Kimberly interned at Air Dente dental job, shadowing all the different positions within the practice. Kimberly's supervisors were impressed with her outstanding attendance, passion for knowledge, attention to detail, communication skills, and her focus on patient care. Great job.
Our next student is Italia Hernandez, nominated by Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark writes, "Not having Italia in class for some time, I was unsure of what to expect. Would senioritis come too early? But much to my relief, it had not, and to Italia's credit, she had picked up right where she left off. She approaches each project with the same forethought and enthusiasm and always works to do her best. Her time in my class has been a pleasure, and I wish her the best of luck throughout this year and in her future."
Priscilla Ramirez, nominated by Mrs. Jagger. It's so amazing to hear what she says. This year, Priscilla has stepped up and been more outspoken since school has started. She does a great job advocating for herself and makes sure that everyone knows her opinion. Priscilla is a great young lady who has come a long way in just 2 years.
Our next student is Kimmy Kingma. Mrs. McDonald from the Life Skills class writes, "Kimmy has taken on her second-hour role with such a positive attitude. She's helped the students in her class by adapting some instruction and making it fun and understandable. Kimmy shows her kind heart and her willingness to adjust at any time. We will miss Kimmy's constant positive attitude in our classroom."
Chloe Carson. Chloe has made an excellent transition to high school. She has been an amazing addition to room 215. Transitioning to high school isn't always easy, but Chloe has been outstanding this trimester. We are so happy you have joined us, Chloe. This is from Mrs. McDonald.
Our next student is Odalise Campos Vasquez. Odalise is a quiet and determined student, showing exceptional grit in the work she does for me. She is quick to ask questions when she is confused and brings a positive outlook to class each day. I'm glad to have had the opportunity to teach her. From Mr. Isles.
Maritza Mora. This is from Mr. Jagger. Maritza has done a great job of advocating for herself this trimester. She has asked questions about her grades as well as course material. She plans ahead for days that she is going to be absent.
Our next student is Felipe Lopez Carrillo. Felipe has shown the most improvement out of anyone in cardio fitness class, improving his mile time from the beginning of the trimester to the end by 1 minute and 46 seconds. One more. That was from Mr. Galati, and he's also been nominated by Mrs. Jagger. Mrs. Jagger says, "I'm amazed by you taking on a class that you weren't sure about at the beginning of the school year. After being asked about it, you stuck with it and never gave up. You've done an amazing job in that class and you seem to be enjoying it. Your perseverance is amazing.
Daniel Mejia Cervantes. It has been a pleasure to have Daniel in honors U.S. history this trimester. It has been evident to me that he really enjoys history. In fact, whenever I pose a question, he nearly always knows the answer and is willing to participate in class discussions. Furthermore, he is able to often see the big picture and connect historical events together, rather than seeing them as segmented events. Daniel, I think you should strongly consider studying history after high school. You would even make a great teacher. From Mrs. Isgrig.
Our next student is Israel Angeles. Who puts a smile on everyone's face in the hallways of Frankfurt High School? The answer is Israel, a sensational young man with a wonderful work ethic, great grades, and a delightful sense of humor. In addition, Israel is dedicated not only to improving his English skills in American literature class, but also to spreading kindness and empathy. He's a leader by example, and he takes academic work seriously. Ms. Boozer says she's extremely thankful for the pleasure of working with Israel this trimester. He is terrific inside the classroom, and I also celebrate his love of music. I just love it when his group, the Mariachi Band, performs during lunchtime each year. His performances always bring a smile to my face, and it's my honor to nominate Israel for the honor of the Shooting Star Award.
Catherine Castro Duarte. This is from Mrs. Boozer. Catherine is a teacher's delight and has earned the Shooting Star Award due to her strong work ethic, her sense of responsibility and follow-through, and her rapid improvement in English skills in American literature class. Catherine's beautiful countenance and her sensational attitude are matched by her willingness to help other English language learners do their best as well. Catherine is currently a mentor to a new student in our class, and she demonstrates both kindness and dedication to excellence every single day. It is an honor to nominate Catherine for this award. It is even a greater honor to have her as a student this trimester. She also has one from Mrs. Zickman. I have Catherine in class. She is such a hardworking student. She is a second language learner that works many hours a week at a job and has all A's and B's. Catherine excels in figuring out what needs to get done and finishing it on time and done well. She is on track with all her credits and could graduate early if she wants. Catherine thrives in school and has a great future due to her efforts.
Okay. Mrs. McGuire would like to nominate Alexis Weed. Lexi is a great addition to student services. She's a great help and always has a positive attitude. I also had the opportunity to sit with her at a couple soccer games. She's a great representation for FHS. She does yell, "Go Dogs," pretty loudly though. Good luck after graduation.
Sasha Perch. I am honored to nominate Sasha Perch for the Shooting Star Award. This is from Mrs. Boozer. We enjoy having Sasha in our American literature class, where he is a solid student with a great attitude who actively participates in class discussions and activities. In addition, Sasha is to be commended for the extra assignments he seeks out on Monday and Friday mornings to improve his English skills. Sasha's fun-loving personality and his willingness to try new things make him a delight. Perhaps what is most engaging about Sasha is his willingness to try diverse activities. He was a member of the football team this fall, and he is also one of our 4 students who drilled the concrete and installed the memorial benches in front of the school. Always a willing participant in any adventure, Sasha is also beginning to develop a serious plan for his future career. Sasha, we are lucky you landed in Frankfurt, Indiana for your year in the United States. Congratulations on being selected as a Shooting Star for 2018. I am thankful for the pleasure of getting to know you this year.
Our next student is Victoria Moss. Mrs. Hickson writes, having Victoria on my student caseload for the past 4 years has been so much fun. Watching her grow from a shy freshman who lacked confidence into a thriving honor student who is challenging herself, pushing past limits, dreaming big, and believing in her abilities has been amazing. She's put much effort into her college applications, and her excitement about the possibilities of her future are contagious. I believe in you, Victoria. You will do great things, and I can't wait to see where life takes you. Keep believing.
Caden Stein. This is from Mrs. Aguirre and Mrs. Debris. Caden delivered boxes remarkably. He enjoyed every second. Besides delivering boxes, Caden is very involved in his studies and speaking his words of wisdom. His character and leadership is outstanding.
Thank you, Nelson. The next award is for Alex Santiago from Mrs. Isgrig. Alex has really impressed me this trimester. He had to miss a few weeks of school early in the first 6 weeks, but upon his return, he arrived with much of the work from his absence already completed, even items which were posted to Canvas that we hadn't discussed yet. He also came to school early on 3 different occasions to make up essays and tests that he missed during his absence. Furthermore, Alex is a very friendly student. Every day when he arrives to class, he greets me and tells me to have a good day when he leaves. He is truly a bright spot in my day.
Daisy Duerte. Daisy is a kind, hardworking, conscientious young lady. This trimester, Daisy worked really hard on raising her reading level. On average, a senior will raise his or her reading level 25 points during the school year. Daisy raised her reading level 160 points in less than 3 months. I am very proud of her, Mrs. Johnson.
Our next student is Callista Lucio. Mrs. Aguirre and Mrs. Debris write that Callista was a great addition to our 5th hour. She's dependable, sweet, and diligent. Thank you for taking the brunt of most tasks with a smile on your face. We wish you the best.
Julia Perez. This is from Miss Summers. Hey Julia, even though you don't receive a grade in community, if I could, I'd give you a big A+. Your dedication to your education, sometimes in spite of a difficult situation, is admirable. Your smiling face and joyful personality always has brightened my day. You'll do amazing things in the future, I have no doubt.
This award is for Stevie Miller. Mr. Clark writes, Stevie is the epitome of a student of art. She is dark, mysterious, and very talented. She looks beyond the surface of each challenge with a quiet introspection that continues to surprise me. I hope to see bigger things from her in the future and wish her the best of luck throughout the year.
Mackenzie Gonzalez Garcia. This is from Mrs. McGuire. Mackenzie is not difficult to get to know. She is very open and honest about everything. Just ask her. She is a sweet-natured person who is always willing to help and put her best foot forward. Thank you, Mackenzie, for showing up every day and helping in student services, other than the days you just wanted to lay on the floor and didn't understand why that was a problem.
Nelson Santos. Mrs. Caesar writes, I appreciate your work ethic, creative eye, and making class fun. Your inquisitiveness is a breath of fresh air.
Tristan Emery. This is from Mr. Davis. Tristan works very hard every day in world history. He is active and engaged daily. Even when he is not in class, he makes sure he is always current and caught up. Being active, engaged, and taking ownership in his academics sets the tone for a positive learning environment.
Nisa Alanis Aguilar. Nisa comes to class every day with a positive, helpful attitude. She works hard and is always willing to loan a pencil and offer an encouraging comment. We are all happier, more productive learners when Nisa is around. From Mrs. Fortner.
Jacinia Ramos. This is from Mrs. Fortner. I can always count on Jacinia to be an excellent role model in class. She is consistently kind to her classmates and to me. She works hard and is always willing to help her classmates. Jacinia is a wonderful example of a compassionate, focused, and driven hot dog.
Shauna Kelly. This is from all the main office staff. There are many words to describe Shauna. Independent, hardworking, and responsible are just a few. She was always asking for additional projects and never stopped working once. We look forward to having you as an office helper last trimester.
Jada Redman. Jada was always in the office before school started. Jada is an extremely hard worker who we can always count on. Thank you for always having a smile on your face every morning. We wish you best of luck, Mrs. Aguirre and Mrs. Debris. You also have one from Mrs. Jagger. Jada does an excellent job as a peer tutor. She comes into my classroom ready to work with any student I ask her to. I appreciate all of the hard work she puts in and the time she gives to making each student's day a bit better.
Skylar Seward. This is from Mr. Quick. Skylar excelled in economics class the first trimester. She is a caring and helpful young lady. She works with and assists other students in class who need help. Skylar's not afraid of a challenge. She was a member of the football team this year and is a 4-year member of the wrestling team. We're proud to have Skylar as a member of the student body here at Frankfort.
Sylvia Maas. This is from Mrs. Evans. Sylvia exemplifies what it means to be a good student. She works extremely hard in and out of school, speaks up when she needs help, and always shows kindness to those around her. I always look forward to seeing Sylvia and hearing about her latest accomplishments, and I can't wait to see where life after high school will lead her. I am so proud of Sylvia and the dedication she has shown throughout her 4 years at FHS.
Jesse Reed. Mrs. Lovis writes, Jesse is such a hard worker. I love having Jesse in class because he's very dedicated to his work and always wants to represent the best version of himself in his writing. Jesse is constantly ready to contribute his thoughts about what we're reading or the themes we're discussing. He's a motivated student who I know will be successful as an adult. He has the drive and initiative that's necessary to be a leader.
Luis Silva Mora. Luis is always ready and willing to help others. He gets his work done on time or early and then is willing to help others if they are struggling. By placing others ahead of himself, Luis is going to do great things in life. Thanks, Luis, for taking my class, Mr. Smith.
Damon Henry. Mrs. Lovis writes, Damon is one of the most kind and considerate students I've taught. He's always respectful to me and his peers. He works very hard in class to be successful and pushes himself, asking for help when he needs it. He takes the time to tell me to have a good day each and every day, and it reminds me how much I appreciate having personal conversations with students about their days. I know he's going to be a respectful and wonderful citizen of Frankfort.
Arlen Gallegos. Sorry for that. Is he here? She? Okay. So she actually has 3 of them. All right. So from Mrs. Thomas, I appreciate that Arlen is hardworking, kind, and respectful. She has wants to do her best, and she always does. She is kind to her classmates and is always helpful when they need it. I know she has a great future ahead of her. Next one is Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer. Arlen always goes above and beyond to make sure she understands the content in class. She is an extremely hard worker who strives to do her best on every task. She is a delight to have in class, and we are looking forward to watching her grow even more. The last one is from Miss Guest. Arlen comes into community each day with a smile and a "Hi, Miss." She is genuinely interested in caring for her classmates. Her positive energy and can-do attitude shine through any challenge she faces. Arlen, you are amazing. Sorry for my...
Mason Heaton. Mr. Smith writes, Mason arrives for first period class every day with a smile on his face. He is the only sophomore in a class of juniors and seniors, and he has good relationships with all of the upperclassmen. He stays on task and is doing well in advanced manufacturing. I am proud of Mason.
Leanne Lopez. Leanne was a great addition to our office last trimester. She translated when needed and was constantly busy. It was a pleasure to get to know you. Enjoy your senior year, Mrs. Aguirre and Mrs. DeBree.
Haley Hannon. Mr. Byers writes, Haley is the leader of our second hour class. She works hard on all of her assignments. She's courageous and is starting to join new teams like color guard and possibly soccer. Keep trying for new opportunities.
Kylie Norman from Mr. Byers. Kylie is an awesome student who works incredibly hard in class, does a great job, leads class discussion, and works really well with all her peers.
Taylor, for class. She's normally a step ahead. She likes to challenge herself by seeing if she can figure out how to solve new problems on her own before instruction. She pays attention and is willing to ask clarifying questions. She's organized and always prepared for class.
Octavia Trent is from Mr. Deniston. Octavia joined my piano class late in the trimester and quickly picked up on the class routines and playing the piano, despite having never played before. Most students work hard to keep up with the amount of information and skill required for the class. Octavia not only exemplifies that work ethic, but went above and beyond by catching up with the rest of the class. She's doing an incredible job and plays piano very well.
Brooklyn Abbott. Mrs. Howe and Mr. Cantlin wrote, she just finished the adult CNA class at Wesley Manor. Brooklyn is a very kind person all around, but one good deed that she did for a resident was very impressive. There was a particular resident who did not have any family come to visit her during a long battle with Alzheimer's and following a stroke. Unfortunately, this happens all too often with residents in long-term care facilities. When Brooklyn found out that this resident did not have anyone who would come to visit with her, she took it upon herself to come in on her own time and stayed with the resident so she would have someone. This type of caring is almost unheard of these days. Her kindness was even recognized by the staff at Wesley Manor.
Bailey Wessel. This is from Mr. Jagger. Bailey has been an excellent leader in class. She has often known the answers to the more difficult questions that I have posed in class.
Alexi Vasquez. Mr. Potts writes, thanks for busting it every day. That sounds a lot more like Mr. Potts than me, but thanks for busting it every day. The results you have achieved are a direct result of the effort you put in on a daily basis.
Jocelyn Valdez from Mr. Byers. Jocelyn was a huge help when Mrs. Zickman was gone for a few days. My Spanish is okay, but she was able to translate and essentially serve as a teacher for the ELL Level 1 students in 4th hour.
Bain Spencer. Mr. Clark writes, Bain has improved by leaps and bounds over the last 2 years that I have had. The always interesting pleasure of having him in class. He continues to show great maturity and awareness not only for the expectations of the class, but for what he expects from himself.
Cole Regal. This is from Mrs. Rennick. Thank you for taking on the daily tasks, some fun and some not, in the office as our student helper. I appreciate the fact that you are a role model to your peers and so humble. Congratulations on a fantastic job in the musical Freaky Friday.
Landon Mejia. Mr. Byers writes that Landon is the leader of the 4th hour class. He does a great job helping his peers and stimulating class discussion. Great job, Landon.
Ariana Regalado. This is from Mrs. Rennick. Thank you for being a kind person. No matter where you are, amongst your peers at a game or out in public, you always make the effort to come and say hello and shake my hand along with all the friends and or family that may be with me. You are a great leader on the soccer field and your efforts off the field are tremendous.
Eduardo Tovar Carapia. Eduardo has worked hard and competitively at raising his reading level this trimester. On average, a sophomore will raise his or her reading level 50 points during the school year. Eduardo has raised his reading level 200 points in fewer than 3 months. It's very impressive. From Mrs. Johnson.
Logan Roberts. It's from Mrs. Harshman. Logan has made a concentrated effort this trimester in attending each day with a positive attitude. He is working diligently at gaining credits and working towards his graduation requirements. I appreciate your daily effort.
Austin Hazel. Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer write that Austin has shown continued growth on common assessments. He's raised his score by 32%. He has also shown a great desire to help others in class. He's very good at troubleshooting technology issues. We've also seen a great improvement in classwork in the last 6 weeks.
Jalen Arthur. Jalen shows enthusiasm for activities, even when the class isn't as thrilled. Jalen is a leader and gets other students involved in classroom activities. He has a wicked sense of humor first thing in the morning. It always brightens our day. Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer.
Mrs. McGuire nominated Andrew Grismer, chess master, AP Calc tutor, pennant hanger, and all-around great guy. These are all great titles Drew gets to claim. He's good at everything he does and is a great help with no complaints. He accepts candy as payment for most of the tasks he completes for student services. We wish you all the luck in the world as you start your next adventure at Purdue. Boiler up, hammer down.
Chris Salee. This is from Mr. Clark. While Chris is just in his first year of art, he approaches each project with an open-minded, prepared to give him his best effort. He accepts constructive criticism well and does his best to meet the expectations of each project. Beyond a positive attitude, he does a great job helping not only me, but others out when needed. Thank you, Chris.
I have 2 awards for Josue Bautista Ventura. Josue's strong work ethic in my class has led to his high level of success. From Mr. Jagger. And Mr. Galati writes, Josue receives this award for scoring the highest point total on fitness testing out of all PE1 freshman students in trimester 1, which is evidence of his excellent work ethic in class.
Tristan Ewing. This is from Ms. Guest. Tristan goes above and beyond to participate in team building during community time. She is willing to be a friend to all and always up for a challenge. Over the first 6 weeks, I've watched her grow in her confidence and her positivity towards school. I am so proud of you.
Itzel Reyes. Itzel is a sweetheart. I appreciate her genuine kindness and great work ethic. You are a bright light in my day. Thanks for being a wonderful role model. From Mrs. Caesar.
Isaac Mata. This is from Mr. Jagger. I have really appreciated Isaac's participation in class. He has been a strong member of his small group.
Our next student is Natalia Rascon. Natalia is so crafty. She totally took charge of decorating our bulletin board and student services and rocked it out. She's always a great help. She is quiet and has a great work ethic. Her big heart will take her far as she starts her journey toward becoming a social worker. You can do anything you set your mind to, Natalia. Good luck after graduation.
Emily Anthony. It's from Mrs. McGuire. What fun to start the day off with Emily Anthony when she gets there on time. Emily is always willing to do what she's asked without hesitation. I appreciate her willingness to help and complete tasks efficiently and effectively. Good luck at Marion next year as you study hard and become a great elementary teacher. My only advice, be on time.
Our next student is TJ Edson. TJ has shown a significant improvement from the first 6-week grading period to the second 6 weeks. TJ is showing us more and more of his quirky personality each day. We love that he's putting more effort into his work and continues to be his shining self. From Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer. Nice job.
Samuel Morales Saavedra, from Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer. Samuel always asks insightful questions with thoughtful follow-ups. He shows a willingness to learn new concepts and is constantly trying to diversify his vocabulary. Samuel has a way of using his sense of humor to make the class more fun. Thumbs up. Wait, is there a team there?
Paige Terry, from Mrs. Aguirre and Mrs. Debris. Even though Paige says she is not a morning person, she arrives to school with a smile and coffee in hand. She's always prepared to work and run tons of passes. Paige is a sweet student to everyone, and we're lucky to have her again this trimester. Thanks for your continuing hard work.
Alexis Williams. This is from Mr. Clark. Alexis brings an energy and enthusiasm to my classroom, which is very much appreciated. She's engaged, on task, and always working to improve and do her best. Her positive attitude is contagious. And just when you thought she might be an emo fan, she surprises you by enjoying Dierks Bentley.
Malachi Searless. Malachi has done an excellent job of participating in class, and he's always willing to help when needed. From Mr. Jagger.
Donovan Roby. Donovan is a great student to have in Spanish class. He works hard to understand the content we learn and then takes the time to help his classmates who need assistance. He's also a nice addition to our community. He's good at reaching out to the new members who occasionally join us, and he's always at the center of a heated game of Uno. Thanks for being so cool, Donovan. And this is Mr. Fortner. Is he not here?
Our next student is Antonio Garibay. Antonio has done an excellent job of turning things around. He's determined to do better next trimester and has taken his classes much more seriously. More work has been done outside the classroom than in the past, and I appreciate his willingness to attempt the Canvas assignments during community. I'm proud of all the progress he's made. From Mrs. Peart.
Vanessa Santiago, from Mrs. McGuire. For the longest time, I wasn't 100% sure of Vanessa's first name, but she had a beautiful green hair, so I called her Mermaid. She never corrected me, so as far as I know, she was okay with it. Now I know her name and I've gotten to know her. She is a great help with anything and everything she is asked to do. Thank you for translating when needed and for being so helpful. Good luck after graduation.
Our next student is Shelby Abbott. Mrs. Caesar nominated Shelby, and she had to say, Shelby is a bright light in my classroom. I appreciate her great work ethic and willingness to help her fellow classmates. You are a true role model.
Sydney Piercy, from Mr. Jagger. Sydney has done a great job of working hard in class. She is always willing to ask questions when she needs help understanding something.
Jaretzi Gonzalez. Jaretzi was nominated by Mr. Byers. Jaretzi was a huge help when Mrs. Zickman was gone for a few days. My Spanish is okay, but she was able to translate and essentially serve as a teacher for the ELL Level 1 students in 4th hour. That's awesome.
Victoria Ummel. This is from Mrs. Jagger. Wow, what an amazing young lady Tori is. She comes to peer tutoring willing to do whatever she can to help the students in my classroom. She never has to be told what to do and is always ready for what is thrown at her. Thank you for all of the work you have put into helping the students in my classroom.
Moises Alanis Aguilar. Mrs. Summers Wright, I am so proud of you. You are starting to see the rewards of your many years of hard work. You are going to rock college. Congratulations, you've got this.
Christina Espidio. This is from Mrs. Jagger. What an amazing young lady. Christina works great with every student no matter what is happening in the classroom. She has been able to handle the hard days and just flies through the easy ones. The students look forward to her being in the classroom each day and are sad when she is gone.
Last but not least, we have Diana Roa. Diana has had the top common assessment score for 2 tests in a row. Though she may not talk often, she shows a willingness to help others in small groups. Her shy smile always brightens our day. From Mrs. Parks and Mrs. Schaefer. Well, again, we want to congratulate all of our students that are recognized today. It's a really big deal for us to be able to recognize some of the smaller things that happen at Frankfort High School, which make it a great place. So students, thank you for being you. Here in this season of being thankful, we certainly recognize all that you do and appreciate you being with us. I spy over on the table here, don't stampede, a few more brownies and ice cream. If you would like to have one more before you go, parents, I would encourage you to hang out with your student, meet some of our other fantastic students, but I would also let you know that school gets out at 2:45 and we have break, and I would get out of the parking lot if I were you. But that's totally up to you. We're happy to have you here. Thank you everybody for coming. Students, we prefer that you stay here in the cafeteria with us. Thank you.